Hello, and welcome back to Science 365. Today, our special guest is scientist Shaylin Gordon. She'll be sharing with us what GMOs are, the social, ethical, and environmental implication, as well as her personal opinion on this topic. Please give a warm welcome to Shaylin Gordon.
Thank you so much, Hannah. It is an honor to be here today in front of all of you.
Okay, so let's get started. Can you explain to us what GMOs actually are?
Well, GMO stands for genetically modified organisms. GMOs are the result of the laboratory process where genes from the DNA of a species are taken and artificially forced into the genes of an unrelated plant or animal.
Okay, so can you give us an example?
Well, corn is a great example of a GMO. Almost 85% of corn grown in the U.S. is genetically modified.
Wow, I didn't know that. What problems are GMOs actually trying to solve?
Well, there is approximately 8 million people on Earth that are malnourished, and the population is rapidly growing. GMO crops and animals are one of the only ways that we can solve the persistent problem of hunger and lessen the impact of diseases without doing damage to the environment.
So what assumptions are being made by researchers today?
In some of the articles that I have read, most researchers assume that the chemicals that are put in GMOs can cause serious diseases or illnesses. However, there isn't enough sufficient information to confirm that GMOs are a contributing factor.
So then why are these assumptions actually being made?
One of the reasons for these assumptions is that the percentage of Americans with chronic illnesses has increased significantly over the past few years. Illnesses such as autism, digestive problems like Crohn's disease, or severe allergies continue to grow. These illnesses may be increasing, but there isn't enough research to confirm whether or not GMOs are one of the causes. GMOs haven't been around for that long, and people only listen to the negative effects that they can have, not considering the many positive effects.
So I've read different articles, but an article that really stood out to me was an article written by the Institute for Responsible Technology. And in this article, I noticed that the writer's opinion was very negative about GMOs. They were not in agreement with the use of GMOs. They didn't think they could solve the problem of worldwide hunger. So are all the articles like that? Is everyone against it, or?
Well, there are articles like that where they have a very negative point of view, but there are other articles, such as the Business of Innovations article, that agree with the use of GMOs. They believe that GMOs can resolve the issue of hunger around the world, and they think that it is one of the most efficient ways to help the large problem in our society. They explain that GMOs are rigorously tested before they can be sold, even more than naturally grown crops. These tests include evaluations of potential risks to humans, plants, and animals.
Okay, I can see how both sides have formed their opinions here, but how might people be affected by GMOs?
Well, there are many different social implications regarding GMOs, some positive and others negative. Some people are so against the idea of GMOs that they will stand outside of grocery stores just to protest. GMOs are everywhere, and most people have consumed GMOs without even knowing it. Some GMOs have healthy nutrients and extra vitamins, and there are times that GMOs just make food simply taste better.
Okay, so I think that the biggest issue with GMOs is that people are so against them even before they know sufficient information about them. I think people when they hear GMO, they think chemical, they think harmful. They don't think of all the positive effects it has and the nutrients and the extra vitamins it can give.
Yes, this is a big issue in today's society. People only listen to what they hear on TV and read in the news. There are also many positive different effects that GMOs can have. But there are also different ethical implications that could impact people's opinions. There are a number of ethical concerns over genetically modified foods, and these have all affected public support of the products. Concerns about GMOs range from environmental risks to health risks. Their potential to trigger allergies or diseases in humans is a growing concern. Some of the crops that are modified are done so with DNA from a bacteria or virus. There is concerns that a new disease may occur in humans who consume genetically modified foods. Environmental effects are also a major concern with GM crops. Most of the technology is still, unfortunately, still new enough that there is a lot that we still don't know about GMOs and how they can affect the environment. Another ethical issue about GMO crops is another ethical issue around GM crops is our ability to contain them in a specific area. There are fears that if these crops spread in an out-of-control fashion, we will not be able to stop the possible damaging effects.
So after researching GMOs and subjects all around it for so many years, what is your personal stance on GMOs and how they affect our environment and society?
Well, I think that people should keep an open mind regarding GMOs. I think that there still isn't enough research to say for certain whether or not they are harmful and could cause diseases or illnesses. I think that GMOs are going to help solve hunger around the world and could be essential to our growing society.
Wow, I have learned so much about GMOs. Thank you so much for coming out today, and we really appreciate it, and I hope to have you back on the show again.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It was lots of fun.
Okay, bye.